Okay, System Shock 2. So this is going to be a co-op interview.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
So System Shock 2. So we started and restarted this game at least 3 times?
I'm going to say at least 3. The first time we started, we were not using the Good Old Games version.
No,
right?
we didn't use the Good Old Games version until the one we beat.
Because I remember every time we started System Shock 2, we had to do that stupid thing in Windows XP where you had to go to your processors and you had to desync your core processors because it could only work on a single Pentium or else the game would freeze up. It was the same thing with Grim Fandango.
First time we played it, we just simply didn't finish it because your
bugging
computer
out.
died or something. We just didn't finish it,
Yeah.
and it was super buggy.
It was so bad.
Second time, we got far,
We almost
and then it glitched out to where we couldn't.
We got all the way to the point where you get teleported to the next ship, and that's where it froze, because it froze in the subway. The elevator door would not open.
We couldn't get out of the elevator.
We couldn't get out of the elevator. We were stuck there.
I also remember when we played that particular one, I would hand you an item, and it would turn into something completely different.
Yes. Or you'd get like infinite amount of that item.
You handed me one Sci-Hypo, and I got like infinity from it.
Right. It said times 999.
Yeah,
but
it
every
was like
time
99.
you used it,
It never went down.
it never went down to 98.
That was the best glitch in the whole game.
Yeah, because you could just constantly use your magic or your psi powers.
I never ran
psychic
out of
powers.
Psi. And then when we played the version that we just beat, I was constantly struggling for Psi.
Right. Since there's a ton of games that we've tried over and over to beat and then we just got discouraged or got distracted by another game, why was this a game that you were willing to keep returning to with me?
Well, you focused on weapons and guns, and I focused on hacking and Psi powers.
Right.
And that made me feel like I was important to you in
Right.
that game. Like I wasn't just there because we were playing 2-player.
Right.
You needed me because
Right.
I was the hacker. And
Right.
I needed you because you were the power.
Right.
And so it made it like really special. Like we needed each other to beat that game because it was hard.
Right.
I don't
It
even
is
know how you beat it but 1 player.
Most people beat a one player by focusing almost exclusively on Psi. I didn't see a single player walkthrough of System Shock where the main person was a Space Marine, which was my favorite class.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see how you could beat it as a Space Marine when you saw how ridiculous the ending to that game was.
The ending was just wrong.
The ending was wrong.
It was wrong.
You're right.
Because we never read any kind of strategy guides. We never read anything. We just played the game.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't even beat the game like that. We had to cheat to get past that.
We
That
used to.
one part. I bet we could have beaten the main last final boss.
Mm-hmm.
I bet we could have beat her.
I bet we could have beaten that
It
main
was that-
stage.
yeah.
That last stage.
If it wasn't for that respawning,
Yeah.
shooting alien guy.
Because they don't respawn ammo. You're limited on ammo, but they keep respawning enemies when you're in the
It's like the
fetus.
gut
It's like the gut, the fetus
insides.
of the mini.
Yeah.
That whole scene made me so angry because it was just so broken. Almost every walkthrough I saw for the single player, they leveled up cybernetics and they chose to make themselves invisible and they snuck past all the enemies. That's how they beat that part. There's not a single walkthrough on the internet, and if anyone's watching this and they find one, send it to us. But I did not see a single walkthrough of anyone playing as Space Marines who put all their cyber modules into guns and was able to beat the final alien mother of the mini. You don't have the ammunition for it. They don't give you the ammunition for it. You don't have the carrying capacity for the ammunition that you need in order to beat mini.
Mm-hmm. And since all my powers was mostly in hacking,
Right.
I was practically useless for the battling of those aliens.
Right. You weren't useless because you kept me from breaking my mouse and keyboard.
Well, I tried, but that was hard enough.
Because we're so close to the end.
We were at the end, and we knew we were at the end.
And it was so broken. I think people who say that System Shock 2 is one of the greatest games of all time, either one, their first playthrough was as a cybernetic person who
chose to be invisible.
Or two, they just never beat the game.
Yeah.
Because the game is amazing until you get to the final boss of the mini.
Mm-hmm. It's got great story. It's got really, really great sound effects. Really like the dialogue. The graphics are not very good, but I still like it, considering how old that game is.
Yes, 1999. Yep. The mini was the only part of the game that I thought was absolutely broken.
I think it was broken. But we beat it, and the ending was amazing.
Yes.
The ending was amazing. It had so much variety and abilities, which don't actually matter if you want to beat the game.
Right.
but it had a lot of variety of skills and abilities that you could focus on.
I'm curious what your score for it would be.
My rating?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's swap ratings. So, my rating for System Shock 2, I will give it an 8. What about you?
I'd be more generous with that. I'd give it an 8.6.
Nice.
Or an 8.7 even.
Nice.
I'll
Well,
give
we
it-
can compromise. 8.3.
Do you think, well, one more question. Do you think it was overhyped? Because people talk about System Shock 2 like it was the Holy Grail.
Well, I don't even understand why it's overhyped just because of the ending. Because you can only beat it with this, and this skills. If you want to build a character that you want and that you're interested in, you're going to have to cheat at the end.
Mistrust is the tyranny of the individual. Your own kind sees you as a threat.
Why do you murder our unity? No matter, the line is drawn. You will cease to be.
It is just a question of
Who will bring your end? Us
or you.